Welcome back, Bucktooth Buckos. OldManTup coming at you today with our Week 12 vid, last game of the season against A-Drive and the St. Louis Rampardos. And this is our last chance to get a victory for the season, put us to 5-7, or if we fail, 4-8. So, just giving you a brief picture of the team here. It's been a good year, good season, and I really enjoyed the team we had. So let's jump right into the battle and see how we go. Thanks to Dan, my opponent, for recording this for me, and Tom for putting the team together. Now, I think he's going to lead with Cyborg, and he does, which is his Go Lurk. So I lead with Thunderous. So I'm like, okay, he's going to stay and go for Stealth Rocks. I'll get a Grass Knot off, won't kill, because I expected this to be a defensive variant. Takes him down to the Focus Sash. I'm like, oh crap, is this thing offensive? Turns out it is. I'm going to hit a Stone Edge and take Thor out turn one. I was just like, oh crap. So I really need to stop leading with this thing if I get it next year, because every time I do, bad things happen. But he's under the Focus Sash, so he's going to keep this thing for fodder. Gonna go for the Psychic on the switch. Really contemplated going for the Earth Power because I thought Victini might be coming in, but Psychic was the overall best play and it was at least damaging something. So Victini comes in, the way he brings it in makes me think he's probably offensive and possibly scarfed. So I'm going to bring in Hot Dog, expecting either the V-Create or the U-Turn. Probably the U-Turn if he's scarfed, because he'll outspeed knowing that I had the Life Orb due to the recoil. And he is just going to U-turn out here after the Intimidate. Going to be a critical hit. And ran the calcs with the crit. I knew he wasn't banded, so I was thinking definitely Scarf for sure. So, and that's something we have to play around because that outspeeds everything on my team outside of Excadrill in the sand. So he's going to bring this in here. Bringing in Salamence. I don't see the Intimidate, so I'm like, okay, it's a Moxie set. He's either going to DD or start some other shenanigans or just fire off a hit. Gonna go for the Substitute here, so I'm like, okay, I can take any one unboosted hit from this thing, no matter what. No matter what it is, I'm got the investment. Even if he has Brick Break, or I don't know if it gets a special fighting move, but he does have the Brick Break, and this is a set I used to run back in 4th Gen, and we lived that comfortably with 20 hit points left. And we are packing the special attacks this week, which was good. Didn't have to rely on an 80% accurate move in the Stone Edge. And we are just going to be able to fade that sub. Now, I can't switch here because I can't risk him setting up Substitute, and I can't risk him going for the Dragon Dance. And he is just going to Dragon Claw here, and I had nothing to switch in that could take a fighting move on the switch. Gonna get that Moxie boost. Looking back on it, what do I bring in here? Is this? Yep. Bring in the Arcanine here. I wasn't sure whether or not to bring in the Excadrill or the Arcanine. My Excadrill is banded this week, and I didn't want to reveal that too terribly early. But now that I don't have Sand, maybe I should have gone into that. Gonna bring in the Shell Shock here, because anything he would have brought in against me would have got 2-shot by the Earthquake. Anything. I'm just going to go into the Shell Shock here, and I Extreme Speed just to get damage, because if he stays in, I know for a fact that with Extreme Speed, Sandstorm, and Life Orb, he would have died that turn had he attacked. He's just going to bring in the Shell Shock, and I'm going to switch out here. And C4 is going to come in. I was expecting the Toxic because he brought it on this thing last time, and he is going to Toxic, and I can Natural Cure that away anytime I want to by switching out. And even if he had the Ice Beam, it wasn't going to do a lot to me. But he's in here, and I know there's no lot he can do. And I think maybe the Victini's going to come in again. I know he's not going to stay on in this thing because he really needs this Shell Shock to stand up against the physical threats of my team. He's going to bring the Cyborg. Go Lurk out here, and I do reveal the Earth Power, which was probably a mistake because now he knows he can play around it. But me being a special offensive set, I'm sure he had that in the back of his mind anyways. And we're going to start getting whittled down a little bit by the Toxic here, and he's going to bring out Tesla, and I really don't have a safe switch into this thing. I lost Tyranitar really early, which I didn't want to do, and that really hinders my ability to do anything. Now, I don't see an item, so I'm thinking Expert Belt. Or he's choiced in some fashion. So I bring this in, we're going to find out what it is. Even if he's Expert Belt, max special attacking Jolteon, I'm going to eat those HP fightings up all day long, and we only do 300% damage with this Earthquake. So slim chance of it not KOing there. The only chance him being Focus Sash or Focus Band. Now he's going to bring in Earthheart here. Now I was so close to clicking Earthquake because I thought he was going to have Roost. And had I clicked that right here, this Blastoise would be dead. Straight up dead. And you're going to say, why would that be? Because even with his Aqua Jet, I don't think it kills at this range. And I two-shot it all day long with Earthquakes. Even fully physically defensive. But I do switch out and go into Hot Dog here. And Hot Dog is just going to come and get the Intimidation off. So I know he was packing the Aqua Jet the first time we played. So I want to burn this thing in the event he is carrying that in his back pocket, because this was his answer to Archeops last time. He's going to go for the Scald, and I know those are going to do just a little over or just a little under 50% each time. And that is about what it does, just a little bit under 50%. So we're going to see this thing here, and I'm just going to sit in on it, and I want to rack up some burn damage, because if I can get this thing to about half, Earthquake just blows its face off. So we're going to Morning Sun here, and we're going to play the game until he Toxics us. We are going to beat it with this. So we're just going to Morning Sun stall a little bit here, and as you can see, he does get the high roll that time with the Scald. So he went from low roll the first time to high roll the second time, so it evens out. And he's going to switch out this turn. And I didn't think he was going to stay in unless he had the Toxic. And he's going to bring in Megatron here, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to outspeed this thing any day of the week, even if I have a negative speed nature. And now I'm sitting at full health. I can burn this. It will be a non-threat. I mean, the worst thing he can do is crit me with the Stone Edge. And set up rocks, which I think he's probably going to do this turn just to get the rocks up to prevent me from getting the switch advantage. Going to go for the Will-O-Wisp here, and it misses. And all that really does is let him get up the rocks for free. I'm going to stay in Will-O-Wisp again. It's going to hit the second time. Excuse me. And all I really lose there is a turn of burn damage, which, I don't think it really mattered in the long run of the game. He's going to get the Toxic off here, and I'm just like, okay, I can stay in, let the burn just wreck this thing to the point where Kyurem can come in and easily take it down, because once I get everything on his team whittled down, outside of Victini, I outspeed it, and Ice Beam is just going to wreck shop on his team if I can get to that point. And that's I'm keeping Kyurem in my back pocket, and I don't want it to get in and get unnecessary damage, because I can take one hit from just about anything on his team, outside of V-Crate. So that's what we have rolling in the back of our mind here. I just want to rack up as much damage as I can. I lost my Stealth Rocks already. And we're going to switch into Taylor here. After that, Stone Edge did absolutely nothing. And he's actually going to switch out here too. I was expecting the Stone Edge to come in, and he's going to go into Shell Shock. Now, Shell Shock is burned, and unless he scalds me, I know he can't take me out. And even if he does at this point, the damage I'm going to get from this Earthquake is going to be so important that... excuse me, like I said, the damage I'm getting from this Earthquake is so important that it stops him from stopping everything, and it's no longer a switch-in to anything, because the burn is doing more damage than he's taking. Unfortunately, I put him in Torrent boost range, which means another Aqua Jet is going to kill me no matter what. Gonna bring a Hot Dog back out here. In the event he goes for another Aqua Jet, we're gonna get the Intimidate off, and I don't think a pair of Aqua Jets is gonna kill me. The Intimidate is going to nullify the effect of the Torrent, And with leftovers, we are going to put ourselves well back over the amount that Aqua Jet did, so I know we can stay in and just Morning Sun get back to relatively decent health, which we need this thing to be at so we can switch around, especially now that rocks are up. So Shell Shock is at just a smidgen of health, and Megatron's going to come back out here, get itself some burn damage racked up on it, and we're just going to Morning Sun and get ourselves as close to full health as possible. And that's what we want to do, and just let this burn damage rack up on his team. Because until we get a couple turns of Toxicking, we're going to be healing off a lot more than we're losing, even if he's hitting us with attacks. And that is what we want to do. I hate to play stally things, but we need his team whittled down as much as possible in order for our big boomers to come in late game and finish up. Get a Stone Edge here. It is going to connect. He's not going to get a crit, and that just does pitiful damage. But that is what happens when you lose the stab attack when you Mega Evolve into Mega Aggron. Go into that pure Steel type. And I'm looking here, and I'm just going to keep on Morning Sunning until he gets to the point where I can finish him off with an attack and not take the extra damage from a hit. Now right here he's going to go for the Stone Edge. That is going to miss, and that is going to be extremely unfortunate for him, because that's going to be less accrued accumulative damage that I can do. Now he's going to switch out here because he needs to preserve differential. I didn't say that's at the beginning of the match, but he needs to win with a 3-0 to go into the playoffs. Geo had already had his match before us, and we had everything figured out to the point where if Dan won 3-0 or better, he went to the playoffs, but if he won with a 3-0 or a 2-0 or less, that he would not. So I'm getting Extreme Speed here because I want to get as much damage off on this V-Drive as I can. I don't want to switch out because I'm sure he has the fighting move coverage, which he does. And I was really hoping I survived the toxic damage this time just to get off one more hit of Extreme Speed, but that isn't going to happen. We are going to bring in Kyurem here because I know he's choiced, and I know that a choice Brick Break is not going to be enough to take us out. So we're going to get a free Draco Meteor off here. Now here we are going to have an interesting turn of events. Megatron's going to come out here to take the hit, eat it up, go for the Draco Meteor, just because I knew if he stayed in and attacked, we'd be able to take it out with the Draco. Ice Beam at that point, I don't think would be enough to take it out. It was like a very, very small chance. He's going to bring out V-Drive here, and had I hit that, I would have switched out for sure, because I didn't think another one would be able to take it out, and it turns out he is Scarfed. He is going to V-Create, and that's going to hit us hard. And what any chance I thought we might have had of surviving that, just no. So he is going to take us out, and we bring out Taylor, who is at too low of health to survive anything. We're not max speed, so we're not going to outspeed him at all. Even though he's Scarfed, even at -1, he's going to outspeed us. And V-Create is going to finish it off, and he wins at 3-0, exactly what he needs to go into the playoffs. So, spoilers there. Dan has made the playoffs. Benefits of this 3-0 against us. So, congrats on your playoff run, Dan. Once again, thank you for recording this match for us. That play at the end, that miss on the Mega Aggron, really, had I hit that, I would have switched out for sure, knowing that another Draco Meteor wouldn't have been enough, and would have brought it to a 2-0. So, I mean, flip coin toss there. A little bit of counter hacks, which gave us a 3-0 instead of probably what would have been a 2-0, because only what I had to do was switch out and then switch back in, because he had the Mons to do it. So, great season. We were in the, if I believe, the winningest division in the GBA this season, which was the Blue Division. And, yeah. So that was good. Really happy with the results of this season. We went from 1-9 to 4-8. So we won really, really good percentage of our games this year compared to last year, to where we were only won one game to winning 4. So really proud of the team we drafted and how we played this year. Even though we got a long ways to go before I would say we are playoff quality, this season was definitely a step in the right direction. So, alright guys, if you have any press conference questions moving forward from the end of the season, leave them in the comment section down below. There will not be another video for you to ask your questions. I will ask a question on Twitter later in the week, and I'll pin it to the top of my page so everybody can see it. So keep your eyes out for that. I will check there and here for the questions for the press conference. And there's just going to be some things I generally want to talk about on my own anyways. Something you guys can look out for, with this being the last game of our season. Our Season 5 is over, but something we are doing, talk to some folks over at the PGL, and they have agreed to let yours truly, OldManTup, be the weekly recap guy. So go over there and check out that channel, PGL Official. I don't know what the link is. Actually, it'll be in the description. So go check that out, because you'll be able to catch this awesome voice doing the weekly recap over there. So alright guys, this has been OldManTup. Thank you once again for your support, all your kind words, and sticking with us through this season. We're only getting better, and there's nowhere to go but Tup. Alright guys, this has been OldManTup, and we will catch you on the flip side. Peace.